Hi, Gary here. Teach your children well. You know, it was back at the turn of the century where we had the Astors, the Carnegies, the Morgans, and the Rockefellers, known as the robber barons, but also they were known as great philanthropists later on in their lives where they gave back to society. So there's also the very dark side of money that we all deal with out there. And John Jr. Rockefeller understood this, and so he wrote a memo to his son, John III, in 1920. It was a 14-paragraph memo about his allowance and about the rules and guidelines for dealing with money, because John Jr. wanted his son to grow up to respect money, to use it well, and ultimately to do good unto others. And it was very important to him. So, you know, if we surveyed our clients, we would find the number one question we get asked is this: how can I teach my children, grandchildren about money? This is a big issue. It's the biggest issue we see all the time. So we're in a society today is much different than it was back with John Rockefeller. You know, we have our workplace and our personal life is kind of blend together. You know, you probably have seen a family of four, father on the phone for a business call, teenage daughter is texting her friends, adolescent boy, son is playing a game on an iPad, and then mom is waiting for them to all show up basically for that dinner. And it's really about setting guidelines and boundaries and rules relative to things in our life, and it really starts with these rules around money. And so money is not taught in our schools, it's not taught generally at home. We basically learn it from observing. We've observed our parents or our grandparents, and it's kind of happenstance. If they had great money habits, we end up with that. If they have poor money habits, we end up with that. And so I believe that this number one question is because people want to make sure they do. Everyone ends up with good money habits. It passes on to better hands in the future going down the line. So you can start with children at a very young age. At age 4 is when you can start introducing money, the names of money. Here's a nickel, here's a dime, here's a dollar bill. And they can watch their parents or grandparents doing financial transactions at the store. So that's the first part. The real hands-on stuff starts at about age 6. Now, think of this as the old piggy bank deal, but not just a regular piggy bank. A piggy bank with 4 slots in it. One for saving, spending, donating, and investing. And an example of this, if you want to look online, is through the Money Savvy generation. It's called the Money Savvy Pig. We've used it for folks for many years now. I think it's a great tool out there. But basically, it kind of goes like this. You take your child, you give them $1 per their age per week, and you allow them to put it into these 4 slots. And you make a deal with them. You say, look, I'm going to give you $1 for dollar for any dollar you put in the investment slot, so you can start building, you know, a fund out there for the future. You go to the bank, you open up a banking account with them so they can see how that works. You basically have a 15-minute meeting once a week with your children, grandchildren, around this money when you give them the allowance where they go through these things. And kind of cool things happen. I remember this time with my son, I think he was 8 or 9 years old. We went to the store, we're in the toy aisle. He's looking at this particular toy, which was 10 or 12 bucks, and there was another one next to it, which was a few dollars more. He really wanted the one that was a few dollars more. He checked his money, looked at me, said, I don't have enough. What can I do? I said, well, you could buy this toy now, or I will bring you back in a few weeks if you like to buy the other toy. He thought about it, and he said, well, I'll get sick of this one toy, and I really want the other one, so I'm going to wait, you know, for a couple of weeks. So the instant gratification was put off, and this decision was being made. You know, these kids are sponges, they pick it up very quickly. So this goes along for a while, and then you get to about age 14, and this is where you want to capitate your kids. Now, when I say capitation, let me give you what I mean. There was this a doctor, John Whitcomb, who wrote a book, Capitate Your Kids. And he tells a story about him and his sister when they were young and their parents were missionaries in southern India, sent them to a school in northern India and gave them enough money for that whole school semester for everything, for tuition, for room and board, for other sundry items and so forth. And they had to really budget their money real well. And he really saw this as a great way to teach children how to deal with money. So consider this. Your child's age 14, they're going into high school. Give them $150 to $300 a month. Open up a debit card for them. Now, the rules are this. They have to go out and use their money to buy gas for the car if they're going to go somewhere, then go to the movies with their friends, they're going to go to the mall, they want to buy additional clothing or gifts or any kind of thing they want to do beyond the normal stuff that parents provide them. That comes out of that money. And by the time they're 18 years old, they've pretty much got a good handle on those dollars. So this comes full circle. So we really want to prep our children for the world. When they get out there in this difficult world where it is a horrible place many times, it's not fair, it's not just, they'll know how to deal with money. And by the way, there's going to be supposedly over $100 trillion transferring in the next 30 to 40 years to these next generations. And that's an enormous amount of money we've never seen before in the world. It'd be great if they had really good money skills and use that money appropriately for themselves and for the rest of the world. And I think this has hopefully helped you a little bit on this. And check out the writings for multiple places for information and other websites and so forth so you can get a little more about how to teach your children about money. So until next time, enjoy.